What's going on, everybody? It's Kevin with Online Shopping My Way. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today we're going to be doing a review of the 08 and 09. They're sister scooters. They have their high points and their low points, but we're going to be running a few little tests just so you guys can see what market the 08 is going to serve versus the market of the 09. Because I think they do serve different markets. They're both great scooters and they both have their high and low points. So let's go ahead and get right into it, and hopefully this will help you guys have a better idea of which one would be a better fit for you. So we're gonna go ahead and do a test of both the 08 and 09 going up this incline. So it's a decent steep little incline, and it's relatively short in comparison to the other one that I just did in the previous video, which you guys can see right here in the video tag. But I think this will be a better test for uphill simply because it's short and the incline is really quick. So either it's going to make it or it's not. So I don't know whether either one will make it. I suspect the 09 probably will. 08 is pretty powerful too, especially on a longer stretch. So let's just see what happens, and hopefully this will give us a better idea.
So taking off with the 08, she's moving along pretty well, and then boom, hits a bit of an incline there, begins to struggle, and then the motor noticeably makes more noise as it slows and tries to pull up the hill to right about there. And it begins to plateau at the top. So it does make it, although there was a bit of stress on the motor. I wouldn't really want to put that much stress on it for very long. Yeah, so definitely made it, but on the low end.
Okay, so 09, right up the incline, and here we go.
Right out of the gate, 09 goes from 0 to 6 miles an hour and never dips below 7. Even as the incline increases here, the motor does not struggle much at all to pull me up the hill. Yeah, both scooters started out in gear 3, which is, delivers the most power. There's a stark difference between these two motors here. So with both scooters starting out in gear 3, the most powerful gear, it was pretty obvious that it really just came down to power between these two scooters. No issue whatsoever getting up the hill with the 09. Of course it did slow, but it was not struggling. The motor did not seem like it was struggling much at all. So if you're below 170 pounds, 08 is still ideal. I would not recommend it for hill climbing in any way, shape, or form if you are more than 170 pounds. So the other difference really comes down to braking. You may not use it going up, but going down, that's going to be of huge importance. On the way down, I was able to use both independent braking levers to be able to manage the stopping power on that 09. Made a huge difference with the drum brake in the back and the disc brake in the front. The 08, I was literally skidding on the way down. And again, that has to do with weight. If you're below 170, I think you'll be okay, but I hope that's helpful. Next, of course, is going to be, braking. We'll look at a bit more than that, but let's go ahead and take a look at that right now.
Okay, so it's pretty obvious where the 08 actually stopped. You can tell the skid marks. This cone right here marks the beginning. You can see where it skidded. Here's another 10 feet. Here's another 10 feet. And if you notice, the skid marks at this point go a little bit awry because it begins to fishtail. That's one of the problems I think that the 08 is going to have with anybody who is probably over about 165 pounds. The more you weigh, the more likely that back wheel is going to kick out from under you. So this looks like a limitation and probably a really good lesson. Anybody who's over about, I don't know, maybe 160 is likely going to experience some issues. For me, I actually had to lay off of the brake simply so that the back would not completely fall out from under my feet at that speed trying to stop. After I locked up those drum brakes in the back, they're pretty effective. It's just there's not a whole lot of grip to be able to stop. Get a good look on the other side. that drum brake. That was the only problem we had, but outside of that, she handles well at high speeds, but I will say she does not feel quite as sturdy and confident at high speeds as the 09. I think that's to be expected. The 09 is constructed a lot more sturdy, and it really rides well at high speed. So the speed at which I approach these cones was about 18 miles per hour, and this is a distance that it actually took to stop. All right, actually stopped right in the tracks. You can see where it stopped right there at the back wheel because it has that rear drum brake. That's where we ended. Okay, so this is a difference between the drum brake only on the back of the 08. It's only got one drum brake in the back, does an okay job, although the 09 has both a drum brake as well as a front disc brake ensemble, which allows you to be able to use both braking independently. You can apply those independently, whereas that's on the 09. Whereas on the 08, there's only one handbrake, and you're pretty much at the mercy of that drum brake in the back, which, as I stated earlier, kind of causes that back tire to kick out. I'd imagine that, you know, pretty much anybody over maybe about 160, 165 can probably do okay with it, but to be frank and honest, I feel like anything over about 20 miles an hour on that 08 is not the safest thing for anybody who is maybe topping about 165 pounds or so, simply because there's no way to really stop without that back tire fishtailing out from underneath you. So I think it's going to be a great machine as far as the market is concerned for teenagers, small people who are less than maybe 160, 165. I think would be a good fit for it. So yeah, absolutely. The 09, I would imagine, as far as capping out weight-wise, I would recommend 200 pounds and below, simply because it is a sturdy machine. But to be quite honest with you, anything above and beyond that, I don't see it being able to pull you up a hill. And also, in addition to that, I don't really see the ability to be able to brake as quickly as you may need to. But anything below that, it is absolutely awesome when it comes to braking. I feel very safe and secure with it, as well as at high speeds, it does very well. Anything in excess of 18, 25 miles an hour, I still feels really great on the road. The 08 as well can get up and zip. It takes a little bit longer to be able to reach a little bit higher speeds. It does hold its own, although I do not believe that it handles the same way that the 09 does. So again, if you are below about 165 or so, I think you'd be fine. You know, if you've got kids or you're just a more petite adult, I think it'd be perfect for you. Okay guys, so the sun is starting to set here. Just finishing up, as you can tell behind me, the sun's setting. Just finishing up the review. The stopping distance for the two scooters, the 08 came in at its best at 38.6 feet. And I'll be honest, I gave it about 8 runs because the 09 was able to stop at 31 feet at its best at only 3 runs. My guess is it probably could have done better than that. Okay guys, so that's about it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys. Please like this video if you got any value out of it. And if you have not, please hit that subscribe button. That helps me out quite a bit. Really appreciate it. So until next time, I've been Kevin with Online Shopping My Way. Thanks you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next video.